three's a reign, and with his third title defense, Alexander the Great Volkanovski has made it crystal clear that he's the undisputed king of the featherweight division. So what do you do when you've established yourself at levels above the competition? You look for a money fight, and that's exactly what Volkanovski plans to do. And there's no fight bigger than the notorious Irishman, Conor McGregor. Keep watching as we go over why the champ wants this fight and what else is in store for him. First up, dusted off the whole division. Having defeated Jose Aldo, Brian Ortega, and Max Holloway twice now, the champ has cemented his spot at the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC, behind only welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. This impressive streak is more solidified after his fantastic 3-round fight with the Korean Zombie at UFC 273, as Volkanovski can now say he's beaten every guy worth the title in his division. Joe Rogan referred to this fight as a seminar, and it truly was. Many even argue that it was Volkanovski's greatest performance to date. Volkanovski has definitely not been shy about expressing his desire to face the notorious Conor McGregor. When the champ originally proposed a bout with MMA icon and former 2-division champion McGregor, he caused quite a stir. Many fans or even fellow fighters didn't understand, so explained why a fight with the Irishman makes sense in a recent interview with TMZ Sports. What did the champ have to say? The fame and money that came with facing the Irishman are no doubt unmatched in MMA, but Volkanovski has other reasons to fight the former champ too. It goes without saying the fight would be a big one, with enough hype to last weeks. The Australian knows the fight will be an entertaining one, and he'll enjoy every second of it, calling it a circus. Volk knows how much trash talking and drama there would probably be before the fight, if it becomes a reality. It's Conor McGregor after all. Despite his overwhelming success, the Australian wants to go up against someone he considers to be a legend of the division. With how much the Irishman has done for the sport and the division, you can't disagree with that at all. A victory over McGregor, a former 2-division champion who was once regarded as one of the best fighters in the world, would no doubt add to his formidable featherweight resume. The fact that McGregor is always a big commercial attraction adds to the appeal of a prospective pay-per-view fight. Is Conor a good match for the Aussie? So let's objectively consider whether this would even be a good matchup or not. McGregor's record is 1-3 in the UFC since 2016, with his back-to-back defeats to Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Volkanovski, meanwhile, has won 11 straight fights since joining the UFC and 21 in a row overall. What's more impressive is that Volkanovski's only MMA defeat came years ago at welterweight, and since that, he's clearly only gotten better. But that doesn't mean we should completely disregard the former champ, as he was a force to be reckoned with during his prime. McGregor actually appears to have gained a significant amount of muscle and bulked up more than ever during his time off. So a fight at 145 pounds seems unlikely, but Volkanovski is nothing if not determined, as the Australian not only offered to fight McGregor at 155, but he'd also be willing to fight at 170 pounds to save the Irishman the hassle of a dramatic weight loss. So while there's no chance that McGregor would want to go back to fighting at the featherweight level, Volkanovski is definitely willing to move up to fight the MMA superstar. The potential fight could be just what the Irishman needs to get back on the saddle and grab his fighting streak back. Next, the GOAT status. There's only one champion that the Great hasn't fought yet, so he has this Conor-sized box that he needs to check to truly consider himself the greatest of all time. So the Aussie is ready to risk it all, and even offered to put his featherweight title on the line if it comes down to it. So it definitely isn't a far-fetched idea to see the two step into the octagon. This, of course, can only be considered once McGregor comes back after being out of action for the past 9 months, owing to a freak injury at UFC 264 last year. According to Dana White, if his training and recovery keep going smoothly, McGregor is expected to return as early as the fall of this year. Notorious recently shared photographs of his first try at live sparring since suffering an injury, and he seemed to be in good form. How possible really is the fight? There isn't much left for the 24-year-old Australian to prove in his current class, which is why the Great is considering a move to lightweight. McGregor, on the other hand, may not be prepared for that level of competition, especially since he's coming back from an injury. A high-intensity fight may not be the smartest move for McGregor. He can instead take on a tune-up fight, so he can shake off the rust and get better with future fights. And when it comes to what the Irishman himself wants, he has repeatedly said how he wishes to fight welterweight champion Kamaru Usman in his comeback fight. McGregor hasn't yet responded to Volkanovski's comments, so fans shouldn't expect too much from this potential matchup. Who else is next for the champ? So while the champ has told his own personal desire to fight McGregor, that doesn't mean there aren't any more cards on the table. In his own words, "Everyone in my division, I've been saying it for a while now, get your shit together." Volkanovski seems pretty keen on fighters stepping up to face him. Let it be said that Alexander Volkanovski loves a challenge. His massive growth in skill with each fight is witness to just how much the champ values the sport. An obvious next step could be the trilogy fight between him and Holloway, as the Hawaiian was scheduled to face Volkanovski in their third fight, but withdrew due to an injury. He was actually given the clear in time to fight in UFC 273, but the promotion had already moved on with Jung as his substitute before then. This led to some remarks by Volkanovski, as he believed then it was just a lie to not face him. Of course, he's apologized for them since then. Volkanovski versus Holloway. Is it happening? If you've forgotten just how good Holloway really is, y'all must have forgot, is the pretty apt response from Blessed. He started the year with a beatdown of Calvin Kattar, a performance that had many believing he deserved another shot at the champion, and then followed it up with a fight of the year contender contender against Yair Rodriguez. Due to how close his 2 victories over Holloway were, there has always been a need for the 2 fighters to finish the trilogy. The Hawaiian has continued to be a thorn in the champion's side as he's become a poster boy for his haters to doubt him. Volkanovski might be able to prove the critics wrong for good with the potential 3rd fight. Considering the history between the 2 fighters and just how close the last fight was, this is the only fight that really makes sense for either of them. But here's the thing, UFC President Dana White himself told reporters that he was unsure who Volkanovski will face next. This is the biggest tell that a Holloway trilogy fight is not a done deal, as the champ may be looking to expand his horizons. In a press conference afterward, the Australian echoed those thoughts, stating how he's keeping a careful eye on the lightweight division. So the champ may be looking to fight the winner of Oliveira versus Gaethje, as he's shown that he doesn't mind going up a division or 2. Anything goes for the champ. When he opened up after the Ortega fight, Alexander Volkanovski was an entirely different person, because he had nothing to lose anymore. The Ortega win was not Volkanovski's greatest triumph, but it was the closest he'd ever come to tasting defeat. Volkanovski won nearly every minute of the fight, with the exception of 40-odd seconds when Ortega nearly subdued him twice, once with a guillotine and once with a triangle. They were both tight and deep, but Volkanovski managed to escape both times. Volkanovski was set to defend his title for the 2nd time, but the Fight of the Year contender changed something in the 33-year-old. He was never afraid of anything other than himself, and staring defeat in the face showed him that there was nothing to fear inside his own head any longer. Put together immense skill and self-confidence, and now you've got the recipe for an absolutely fearless champ. Volkanovski will now use his newfound freedom to get everything he wants, whether that be bigger fights, an unquestioned title reign, or whether that's a fight with Conor McGregor himself. The great isn't going anywhere clearly, and the lightweight division may just be in for a treat. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think is the best possible option for the champ to fight next? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.